Hello, welcome back to the Psychedelic Art Exchange YouTube channel. The time has come for another monthly installment of the Collector's Showcase auction, and you know what that means? That means we get to show you some of the rarest, coolest, most exciting paper rock music collectibles around that are CGC and in-house graded. And we got Toki here today as our special guest, so we'll see how long it is before he causes mischief. But luckily, he can't touch the posters, so I think we're safe.
We're safe.
All right, so what do we got?
Well, we're starting off this week's discussion with a very special poster. It's a Quicksilver poster from the brief residence that the family dog had in Portland at the Crystal Ballroom. They only produced four events during this time, and this poster is very difficult to find. It's the first copy we've ever handled, and it's scarce because it's very thin, very fragile. They don't come up in this kind of shape very often. So anyone that's a completist of the family dog posters really needs this. It's one of the scarcer of the whole thing, and it's a great poster. The design is wonderful. It's Quicksilver in '68, and although Eric King doesn't note the artist, we believe that it's Tad Hunter from San Andreas Fault. The
Mhm.
artwork looks like his work, and it's again unattributed in King's book, but we believe very strongly that it's San Andreas Fault. But this is this wonderful collage imagery of Cipollina hovering over Quicksilver, and Quicksilver really was one of the finest Bay Area bands at the time. They were, the personnel was a bit of a revolving door because of arrests and drug problems, but yeah, John Cipollina really was the force behind it, and Gary Duncan, Nicky Hopkins was in the band for a while, and Dino Valenti was in the band and wrote music for it. David Freiberg. So it was some of the finest Bay Area musicians, and they don't get the credit they deserve. I mean,
Mhm.
their first record was the design by Rick Griffin. That's a great piece, and their second record, Happy Trails, is just a wonderful piece with the Who Do You Love, Where Do You Love, When Do You Love. I mean, that was one of the first bands outside of the Dead that I really gave a hard listen to from
Mhm.
that era. And so, yeah, I can't say enough about this poster. Hardly ever comes up, and it's super fragile. I kind of had to rig it up so that I could
So that you
display it.
wouldn't we wouldn't get yelled at
Well,
by.
yeah, it's hard to handle these thin, glossy posters. There's another one too. The lead
Mhm.
poster, the Hendrix poster, is super rare, but it's too fragile to handle. It is, got some damage. It's probably a piece for somebody that needs that and would have it restored.
Mm.
It's Hendrix. It's the lead piece. Still, in that case, it's a very difficult poster. But this is a real gem for San Francisco poster style collectors, even though it happened in Portland, which was
Yeah.
a
I
sister
mean,
city. Yeah.
as a side note, I went to the Crystal Ballroom a few months ago for the first time. I live in Seattle, and it's a short drive away. It's beautiful, and they have posters everywhere. I
The
bet
whole
they're all. No, I doubt they had that one. They had like the Notice poster, and a few other Dead pieces. And I mean, they've got to be originals, right? It's the venue. I mean, who knows? But
Yeah, I mean,
I did like walking
you'll
around.
you'll have to take me there next time, and we'll take a closer look. So,
It's a cool space. I like it a lot.
anyhow, moving right along. Eh, Get this out of the way.
Safely out of the way.
Yes, this is laboratory environment here. And so next up, we have this Paul Butterfield poster from the Ambassador Ballroom in DC, which had a handful of shows during the day. There's a Hendrix poster that's really tough. There's a Grateful Dead poster, I think from a canceled show, that's super tough. But this stuff from our region doesn't come up that often, and this is in really top shape. Paul Butterfield Blues Band was, an American Chicago blues band that really helped break through the American blues scene. All the Brits did a much better job, but I mean, no, that's not fair. I mean, Paul Butterfield Band was amazing. Elvin Bishop, and then Mike Bloomfield, and their first record, I think, was produced by Nick Gravenitis, who, had played with Cipollina later on. So there's a little bit of a crossover here. But anyhow, this is, a tough DC area poster and super fragile and thin. That's why it's under the plexi. And
it's similarly colored to the last one too, interestingly.
It has
got a bit of a theme.
It's got a real feel. It's a really kind of San Francisco style poster for an East Coast gig.
Very cool. Yeah, that's not super common at all.
No. And now, if you can see this, we have Jeff Beck, the the guitar player who got his start in the Yardbirds, along with Jimmy Page and Clapton. And Beck was a virtuoso. I mean, he could do so much with just technique and guitar and amp.
A real jazz guy, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I really like his period from Wired and Jan Hammer Group and that fusiony material that he was into. Really had trouble establishing like a superstar career like those others that I mentioned. He was a little bit difficult, and he had issues along the way, but he's still, Mount Rushmore of British blues guitar players, if we have to talk about it. But yeah. And so anyhow, this is one of those cardboard posters from the Paramount Theater, which are not easy to get, and it's a good image.
Back to the Northwest.
Yeah, it's 72, like the end of the Jeff Beck group, I think. And yeah, again, this is a good poster.
It's another theater that I frequent. We're in my home.
I mean, the Pacific Northwest, we've been having a lot of interest in the posters from that era. They're really deeply collected, and Seattle and Portland have a real thing that continued with the posters, through the end of the 20th century. So, and probably still have a poster scene. But
yeah, I mean, it's, you can't walk by a telephone pole in like downtown without it being layered in like flyers. I mean, they're not as cool, but people definitely still flyer. That's a thing people do.
It's a very strong poster scene in the Pacific Northwest. Probably, I mean, it had more legs than the San Francisco thing. So anyhow,
me wearing my Nirvana shirt, I didn't even realize we were going to be talking about. That's funny.
Our talk wouldn't be complete unless we talked about one of the graded items. And here's a 10, which, is the lucky number here. If you draw this is a card. This was for the California Hall, and it's a design by Greg Irons that I just love. Strange Happenings. This is a poster that hangs prominently in my home. So to get that space is something.
It's stiff competition. But yeah, that's it's a 10. I think that's the only graded 10 item we have in the auction. So
yeah, and they should always float to the top for those of you that collect graded material.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Well, we have one more little. I mean, any opportunity to talk about it's a tiny little card, but it's 13th floor elevators in 66, where we've had this discussion many times, but it's not a stretch to say that they were responsible for a good part of what became the psychedelic sound. They really were groundbreaking. I mean, they were.
Yeah, I think that they were the first ones to even use that as a genre descriptor, but also the
That's
reason why I think this is so cool is because it was 2 days before their first album came out.
oh,
So
really?
it was like, yeah, so it was like right there. Um,
Well, that's a nugget. Again, the association between Texas and San Francisco is well documented, and we love talking about it. But I
mhm.
mean, Rocky Erickson was just he had it. I mean, he went a little bit too far out there, but he had it, and still to this day is revered. I'm a big fan of collecting 13th floor elevator stuff, and it's a tiny little card, but it's right at the heart of that.
It's rare. I couldn't find any others anywhere. So,
This stuff, that's the thing. We've been getting a lot of cards and flyers in, and they're less easy to trace than some of the posters themselves. So
mhm.
it's a collector's sort of corner to to understand the cards. It's a little deeper than the posters.
Yeah. Oh my God, there's so much. And that's just a handful of the 51 lots we have in this auction, which is going to be open for bidding until Sunday, March 22nd at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. I think Toki did a great job of,
The
being
first day of spring.
supportive of
Spring
this
is
bidding.
coming.
Oh
Baseball
yeah.
starts next week. It's
Wow.
like it's all happening. Yeah. So
So
here we
we'll be
are,
maybe you'll see us a little more because we'll be a little more
coming
proactive
coming out
and
of the seasonal funk and wanting to have energy. Yes.
still surprises you every single year. But yes, that's exciting. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. The links to the auctions are in the description, and we will see you back here soon. Thank you.
Till next time.